Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today we're talking about North Carolina-based metallic blackened hardcore band Violent Life, Violent Death, and their new EP, The Color of Bone, via Innerstrength Records. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Now, I've been following Violent Life, Violent Death since their 2016 EP, which at the time I described as Every Time I Die fused with Watain. Their particular fusion of southern fried hardcore riffs with vicious black metal vocals, also comparable to the likes of Young and In the Way, really caught my attention in a big way. So I followed them forward with 2018's Come Heavy Breath and 2019's Sadness Reigns. The former was arguably the band's best effort to date, with everything I loved about the debut taken to 11 while maintaining a focus on a quality over quantity approach with a runtime of just 23 minutes. And while the latter was still sufficiently aggressive as I've come to expect with this band first and foremost, the formula was already starting to wear a little thin and lacking in overall personality. Enter The Color of Bone, and unfortunately I'm still feeling that same sentiment. Again, these 5 tracks are utterly destructive when it comes to Scott's nihilistic blackened snarls and the pummeling drums. All of the basic elements are there and ready to get you headbanging, but it's still just missing that special little something that takes an album like this to the next level. I hate to use the word generic, but when my purpose is genuinely wanting to see these guys succeed, it seems like the key factor that's standing in their way. Honestly, I doubt I could pick any of these songs out of a lineup, either in the larger pool of similar bands out there or even within their own short discography. It almost feels like they've lost personality over the years. I had to actually go back and remind myself where the Every Time I Die reference came from, as pretty much all traces of that have been scraped away in favor of pure chug and constant breakdown riffs. This is something that probably would have been very impressive in the late 90s or early 2000s when metalcore was just becoming a thing, but in 2020 it just feels kind of tired. Again, I hate coming off as overly negative with these smaller bands as I consider myself a fan, but to me a real fan, or friend for that matter, is willing to give constructive feedback instead of just giving high fives for work that you know could be better. Especially in a year like this where there is so much steep competition in the world of metallic hardcore. See my list of favorites right here, by the way. So to Violent Life, Violent Death, I say step up your songwriting. Add more complex guitar parts in particular. Push yourselves to develop some truly earworm hooks and maybe a touch more technicality too. It also wouldn't hurt to add a bit more variance to the vocals to help tracks both stand out and stand apart from each other. You've got a strong foundation, but the design needs work and a flashier paint job is definitely in order. That said, I give The Color of Bone an 8 for enjoyability. Again, it's entertaining and gets me headbanging, but its replayability factor is already waning a few listens in. I give it a 7 for musicianship. Again, just very average stuff here. There's like one riff from Roseblade that sticks with me, and the rest is just kind of a sea of generic chug. And I give it a 7 for innovation. I'm not seeing any further growth or new ideas on this one. So a 7.3 overall and a flat C rating for Violent Life, Violent Death, and The Color of Bone. Get it again via Innerstrength Records. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and understand that even when my ratings are on the lower side, by design, my simply featuring them here on the channel generally means I still want people to check them out, even if not necessarily for this album. In any case, let me know what you think of it down in the comments and any other suggestions that you feel like might make this music better. And hey, stick around because I got plenty more reviews coming right after this one, and also tier lists, interviews with the bands on the podcast. You name it, we've got it, so plenty of reasons again to subscribe if you have not yet already. Also, in the description, you can find links to our social media, the email newsletter, metaltrenches.com for even more reviews and content, and also our Patreon and Subscribe Star if you want to make that extra jump to becoming a full-on supporter. Just $1 a month gets you access to early content and really helps me keep this train a-rolling. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.